वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So, today, verse 40. Okay. Chapter 2, verse 40. Okay. नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पम् अप्यस्य धर्मस्य स्वल्पम् अप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात् त्रायते महतो भयात्. Trayate mahato bhayat. Okay. In this path of selfless action, there is neither loss of effort nor any adverse result. Even the little practice of this discipline is dharma, protects one from great danger. Right. And which is the great danger? Birth and death. Okay. Right. Now, in the last verse which we have seen, 39th, the last stanza was Karma Bandham Prahasyasi. So, Bhagavan Krishna has explained the importance of disinterested action in the later part of previous verse, which is 39, and that is Karma Bandham Prahasyasi. And in this verse, another 3, so total 4 ways, okay, importance of disinterested. Basically, disinterested is neutral or unbiased. Right. How? Okay. First, Bhagavan has told about the last stanza of the 39th verse. Karma bandham prahasyasi. By it, one becomes free from shackles of actions. Okay. Shackles, or you can say the bondage. Okay. Then the second is nehabhi kramanashosti. There is no loss in effort. Third, pratyavayo na vidyate. There is no adverse result. And fourth, swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little practice of it, little practice of dharma protects one from great fear. So, actions are there, actions will be there. What in Sanskrit? Karma, right? But if we perform that actions unbiased or neutrally, then these are the four things we need to think, which is karma bandham prahasyase. By it, one becomes free from bondage of actions. If we are doing unbiased. Second, nehabhi kramanashosti. There is no loss of effort. Third, pratyavayo na vidyate. There is no adverse result if actions are unbiased or done neutrally. And fourth, swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little practice of dharma protects us from great fear. Nehabhi kramanashosti. In this path of disinterested action, unbiased action, there is no loss of attempt. The partial practice of this yoga, which is this yoga? Discipline of disinterested action, discipline of unbiased action. So the partial practice of this yoga has its corresponding benefit. The desire to attain equanimity is the beginning of equanimity. Okay. At least we thought about it. And that itself is a good thing. Such a beginning never gets wasted because desire for attaining the real is also real. I always tell and share this in our Geeta class so many times that those who have nothing to do will always ask you, but what did you achieve? You are attending the Geeta class since last 2 decades. What did you achieve? What is the change? So, on the lighter note, we have to answer, we can say, okay, I did attend, you did not achieve. By not attending, what did you achieve? And that's on the lighter note. But here, Bhagavan has very clearly mentioned that such a beginning never gets wasted. Keep that in mind. And that's, why I'm saying this. It's not me. It's not XYZ. The supreme reality of universe himself uttered with his own mouth. So that's a consolation to all of us. Of course, Arjun was in front of Bhagavan Krishna, but that's the consolation for all of us, or assurance for all of us, that it's not going to waste. It will be invested somewhere. Not wasted, it will be invested somewhere. We may not know. Sometimes our parent or great parent, they might have put some money, okay? We don't know, but all of a sudden we get it. Don't know. So it is going to be invested somewhere. So it never goes wasted. That is for the sure. And that assurance is Bhagavan Krishna himself. That we must not forget. So in this world, human beings are authorized to attain equanimity. Underline the word human beings are authorized to attain equanimity, meaning the cattle cannot, the birds cannot. Okay, all other bodies like cattle or birds, their births are to enjoy worldly pains and pleasures. There is no opportunity for them to do away with attachment and aversion, because pleasures can be enjoyed only by having attachment and aversion. If there are no attachment and aversion, no pleasure can be enjoyed, and such actions will lead to spiritual discipline. Pratyavayo na vidyate. Actions which are performed with a desire for fruits can give adverse result, can come with adverse effect. Okay. If there is any error in the pronunciation of chants or in performing sacrifice, etc., but one who performs actions without having any desire for fruits becomes equanimous, and so there is no adverse result for effort. So now, do you recollect that always the chanting classes where when we are learning different prayer or the mantra or the stotra, or even for our annual Geeta recital, the different chapter. Because this is, forget about the whole of chanting class, but Geeta recital, okay. Is there any hidden agenda when we go and recite there? No. Is there any incentive? No. So absolutely this is selfless. We do not expect any fruits out of it. Hence, if there are some mistakes in pronunciation, Bhagavan knows. It does not mean that we must not practice, okay? It does not mean that we must not practice. That is also an equally true, okay? So, the answer is there, Bhagavan himself has given. Becomes equanimous, and so there is no adverse result from his effort. Even it might be mistake, it may be, so be it. What is adverse result? Now, in this the context of this particular verse, okay, what is adverse result? Unevenness of mind is an adverse result. Okay. Or you can say the wavering mind. Let me do this, let me do that. Okay. Attachment and aversion is uneven mindedness. This uneven mindedness leads to a cycle of birth and death. Punarapi jananam, punarapi manaranam, punarapi janani, jathare sharanam, jathare shayanam. But when a man becomes equanimous, attachment and aversion are rooted out, and on annihilation of attachment and aversion, there is no unevenness of mind, and therefore any adverse result is out of question. Bhagavan has clearly told that pratyavayo na vidyate. Now next is Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. Even the little practice of this discipline, which brings about equanimity, protects one from the great fear of birth and death. So, unlike action for fruits, which ends after its fruits, it does not perish. Its fruit is not wealth or property, which are perishable. Equanimity, which a devotee, attains by facing favorable and unfavorable circumstances, gets fixed in him and becomes permanent. A devotee deviating from the path of yoga, having enjoyed heavenly pleasures from many years, and having taken birth in the houses of righteous person, does not lose knowledge or even-mindedness gained in his previous birth, because this knowledge of even-mindedness is real. This particular right is in the 6th chapter. Arjuna has asked the question, Ayati sadhayopeto yogachalita manasah apapya yoga sansiddhim kam gatim krishna gacchati. What is the question from Arjuna? It's in 2-3 verses, but I am just sharing this only one. In the 37th verse of 6th chapter, okay? Arjuna said, what is the fate of the unsuccessful yogi who begins the path with faith, but who does not endeavor sufficiently due to an unsteady mind and unable to reach the goal of yoga in this life? Again, when I say, if not today, tomorrow, and then, I always say, if not this life, next life. This is the answer. Bhagavan is going to give the answer now. I'm going to share this with in next 2 verses. It never goes. It is going to give some sort of. If it's not going west. So if I started something in this life, okay, and in that context I always tell that if not today, tomorrow, means not this life, next life. Because Bhagavan is going to keep our account. And if he keeps our account, then there cannot be any error. There cannot be any error. So, okay. So, this is the question from Arjun. Let's see what Bhagavan says in. Bhagavan has answered in the same chapter 6 in the verse 40 and 45. Okay. Bhagavan says, Parthanaiva namutra vinasastasya vidyate nahi kalyanakrit kaschit durgatin tata gacchati. Bhagavan said, O Parth, one who engages on the spiritual path does not meet with destruction either in this world or the world to come. My dear friend, one who strives for God realization is never overcome by evil. That is in verse 40 and in 45th. Prayatnadayata manastu yogi sansuddha kilbishah aneka janma sansiddhis tato yati param gatim. with the accumulated merits of many past births. When these yogis engage in sincere endeavors to make further progress, they become purified from material desires and attain perfection in this life itself. Now you might have a question. Yeah, but Jadibhai, what did you say and what you read? The translation, but that is for the yogi. And that's why the answer again in the same verse of the verse 40, Svalpam apyasya dharmasya, even a little effort. Yogi will do according to his capacity the spiritual practice, the sadhana. And we, the common man, the layman, will do according to our capacity. Right? But sadhana is sadhana. Spiritual practice is spiritual practice. Right? Okay. The sparrow also flies. Okay. The sparrow might fly for maybe 20 feet high or 10-meter high. Okay. But another bird, eagle, might fly 100-meter high. But what is the common between to fly? So, of course, Bhagavan has told this for the yogi, but it is again an assurance for all of us that Svalpamapyas dharmasya, even an hour per week, whatever we are engaging ourselves, it can be one drop. For saying, we always say drop in the ocean, but property of ocean and the property of the drop are the same. So this is an assurance. Again, I am repeating, given by Bhagavan himself. Right. Dharma, duty, Svalpam apyasa dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. Dharma, duty, is used in two senses. Of course, charity, kindness, in giving or rendering help to the needy or to the suffering people. And second, discharging one's duty according to the ordinance of scriptures by performing one's duty without desiring its fruit. Most important is that we must not forget. Even as it is written here, or well explained by Swami Ram Sukdas ji, that duty is used in two senses. One is charity, kindness, to help to needy, to give clothes, or these. And second is discharging one's duty according to ordinance of the scripture. But in both, without desiring its fruit, without expectation of any kind of acknowledgement. So, without desiring its fruit, one develops equanimity automatically. It comes because it goes without saying. Therefore, here equanimity has been called dharma. So, it can be charity or to help or to assist somebody is, of course, the part of duty, part of dharma. But if there is any hidden agenda, then it will not lead us to the equanimity. Then the whole purpose will be destroyed. That is more important. Some people this is very very well explained here by Swami Ram Subdas here. Some people opine constant remembrance of God is not useful unless there is concentration of mind. But the Gospel of Gita does not attach much importance to the opinion. It attaches more importance to equanimity. Keep on chanting name, good. And of course, people those do not have any job will always tell, but you can't concentrate. Then what's the point? Always tell. But here, Swamiji has explained very nicely. In the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan has emphasized more on the equanimity, samatha. Equanimity, samatha means in any condition, any circumstances, that is more important. So, it attaches more importance to equanimity. According to the Gita, a devotee who has attained equanimity is an exalted soul. Even when a man is imbued with all qualities, if he does not gain equanimity, according to the Gita, he cannot be called a perfect soul. This equanimity is of two kinds, of the mind and of the self. The Bhagavan pervades everywhere equally. One who gets oneself established in him gains victory over the world and is liberated. But the equanimity of self can be known by equanimity of the mind. Equanimity of the mind consists in remaining even-minded in success and failure. Such a person remains even-minded in praise and reproach, success and failure, profit and loss, pleasure and pain, etc. This sort of equanimity never perishes, and it results is nothing but only and only salvation or the liberation. Whatever virtuous actions such as penance, charity, pilgrimage are performed by men, these perish after giving fruit. But equanimity does not perish, and it leads men to salvation or God realization. While concentration of mind may lead him to accomplishment, but not salvation. So, we're going to discuss something more on that, but today we're going to conclude here. As I always tell that in today's talk, whatever you like, credit goes to all the scriptures, all the saints. Absolutely nothing belongs to me. And our main reference book is Sadhak Sanjeevani, written by Swami Ram Sukhdas ji. Okay, we will recite 73rd verse of 18th chapter. Nashto moha smrutirlabdha tat prasadan maya achyuta sthitosme gata sandeha करिष्ये वचनं तव करिष्ये